I know a commander's map when I see one. Each of those marks matches a location mentioned in the communique from Rada al-Saran, the leader of the Grey Host. I can already see where we need to go. That mark on the northwest coast, that's an Ice Reach Coven camp. The communique mentioned needing more medallions. Odds are, they come from there. And here, a Midland camp between Dragonbridge and Morthal. It's a staging ground for the Harrow Storms. More than likely. Those two locations should provide what Fen needs to finish his elixir. We can't bet everything on that, though. The communique mentions a warlord's camp in Blackreach. Maybe we can learn more about their ultimate plan there. Svanna, Fen, and I will divvy up the camps and scout ahead. Fen should investigate the coastal camp. I'll take the Midlands camp. That leaves Svanna with Blackreach. Meet up with each of us when you're ready. Then we'll hit each camp in turn. We don't have a lot of solid details, just what we've pieced together from the Grey Host's notes and communique. But I'll answer your questions the best I can. Which camp did you want to ask about? From what I can tell, the camp on the northwest coast is where the Coven first made landfall from Ice Reach. It's as close to a home base as they've got. They've established themselves there, so I'd expect it to be well defended, if not fortified. The communique mentioned orders to produce more of those medallions, probably to keep pace with the increase in Harrow Storms. I can't guarantee this is the coastal camp where the orders were sent, but it's the only one on the map. The Grey Host isn't just hiding in Blackreach now. They're mounting an invasion, and this appears to be their primary staging ground. I expect they're stockpiling witch pikes, grey reliquaries, and other supplies here, including the refined brew. From what I can tell, the camp... Svanna, Fen, and I, we don't have a lot of solid... That's the one we know the least about. But it's where a lot of the Grey Host's warlords are gathering, at least according to the communique. It's the best place I can think of where we can get a look at those orders the Ashen Lord mentioned.
Svanna is heading to Blackreach, and Lyris wants to take the Midland camp. So I'm going to the coastal camp. I'll see you there. I should hurry, though. Once the Grey Host realizes we have this map, they might scatter like leaves in the wind.
Blackreach. To think such a dark and dangerous place has always existed right beneath our feet. I want to see it for myself. And I want to determine what the Grey Host is planning. You'll meet me there, though, right? I could use the help.
Says it's the only love he ever gets.
For all his protestations, Skyrim still modeled solitude after the decadence of the East. A Jarl should live in a longhouse, just as our fathers before us. Still, anyone who can solve our problems can drape their palace in lace for all I care.
The desperation, the despair. More and more of our people have disappeared or become harrowed while the survivors crowd inside the walls for shelter. If High King Svargrim doesn't act soon, there may not be a Skyrim left to save.
High King Svargrim isn't making it easier for the refugees flowing into the city. He's never been an inspiring leader, but lately he's been cold, distant. I suppose watching your love die in front of you will do that.
You might not know by looking at me, but I once sparred with the entire Dragonbridge garrison and won. Afterward, I drank them all under the table. Never assume you know the path others have journeyed.
What do you want? The guards here in Solitude are well trained to deal with any problems. You aren't a problem, are you? You're perceptive, but why should I tell you anything? No, I apologize. I shouldn't have snapped at you like that. I have reason to believe that someone is out to assassinate me. I may have crushed a family heirloom under a millstone last year. I'm here in Solitude now, hoping to wait out the ire of said family. In my defense, it needed to be done. That thing was cursed. Simply put, it could have erased me from existence. I don't know more than that, but that was enough. To not reach Sovngarde. I'd rather die at the hands of an assassin than to have never existed. Now, apologies, but I should get back to my day.
Oops, that's not in. Wrong one.
The only fish that go where the river's flow are the dead ones.
37. Ah, damn it. 38. Ah. Ever had a splinter you just couldn't work free? I can attest they're much worse on the inside. Got into a tangle with a Spriggan in the Shadow Green. Think it wanted to take root in my guts. I'll live, provided I can get off this mountain before it explodes. Friendly word of warning, the mountain's going to explode. I was hired to investigate the odd rumblings beneath the stone. The cause, it turns out, are Reachmen working some kind of magic, stoking the fires of this sleeping mountain. Don't suppose you'd take a cut to put a stop to it? The Reachmen have some ritual pyres burning around the Shadow Green. Those seem to be the source of the magic that's stirring up the earth. Snuffing them out should disrupt their plans. Their plans being to turn this place into another Red Mountain. I thought I'd pretty well summarized our predicament. Reachmen, pyres, exploding mountains. But sure, I suppose I can humor you. It's not like it hurts to speak or anything. An old wise woman, her name escapes me. We crossed paths in the swamps to the east. I think she mistook me for someone else, but she was hospitable for a hermit. She was growing concerned about the rumblings of this mountain. Unnatural, she said. Well, if this mountain were to rain ash and lava down all around us, it would assuredly bury Solitude and kill a lot of Nords. So I'd wager that's your answer. There's nothing Reachmen enjoy more than killing Nords.
Things seem to have stopped shaking, so I'm making better progress extracting the splinters from my gut. I take it the pyres have been put out? Then my odds of getting off this rock without being incinerated are looking much better. My employer should be pleased as well. Here's your cut of my pay. I should subcontract more often. I should get back to the old wise woman who got me into this mess. She probably has some sort of natural Nord remedy for intestinal bark. Fine, yes. Uncomfortable, but fine. I've done a serviceable job of cleaning my wound. I should have no trouble getting to Solitude, at least. Barring any unfortunate encounters with rough-hewn furniture, I'll be fit to travel after a bit of rest.
It has begun.
A glass of one pint will not dispel this ritual. Another pipe. You shall not claim the grey reliquary. Oblivion will take you first. The storm, but you'll never reclaim what it's taken from you.
Ah, good. I was hoping you'd show up. Lyris was right. This camp is crawling with the Ice Reach Coven. And they're definitely producing the medallions here. I was even able to slip away with one. We need to get closer, though. There's more to figuring out this magic than just watching from afar. I need to know exactly how they go about creating them. With your help, we can learn everything about that here in this camp. It's a landing site for the boats coming from the island of Ice Reach. Plus, they're collecting something here that goes into the process of creating the medallions. If you can get me to the center of the camp, I can learn what that is. Determining how they create these medallions will be an enormous help. The Grey Host has accelerated their plans. They need more medallions for a reason. A big harrow storm is coming. We need to be ready. Corpses? What do they have to do with the medallions? Let's examine the nearby graveyard. examine the headstones. Let's determine what's so special about the exhumed bodies. There must be something that connects these graves to the medallions.
Everything prepared.
Finished? Have you come to any conclusions? Well, we've both been over the headstones with a fine-toothed comb. If we can determine why the Coven dug up these particular bodies, it will tell us something about how the medallions were enchanted. Of course. Compare notes and look for commonalities. You have the makings of a fine scholar, my friend. Now, let's see. I noticed there were a mix of different races buried here. They weren't all Nords. Anything strike you about the departed? Really? What was that? Well, of course. They did. Tell me more. Of course. Why didn't I see that? The headstones on the exhumed graves all mentioned that the person was old when they died. Let me think. Some necrotic spells require the remains of the elderly. Something to do with the natural decay of life. According to one necromantic theory, the older a living thing becomes, the more necrotic energy it naturally acquires. As a body grows old and withers, the life inside it decays. Necrotic energy is the byproduct of this deterioration. I now know enough about how they create the medallions to move my research along. I'll return to the Blue Palace and start putting an elixir together. To fully craft an elixir to defend against the Harrow Storms, I still require a sample of refined netherroot brew. Plus, we need to determine what the Grey Host has planned. Help Lyris and Savannah at the other camps. Then meet me at the Blue Palace.
Yeah.
Just arrived. Don't worry, I found something to keep me occupied. A bold move setting up camp in the midst of the Western Holds. I'll say this for the Grey Host. They aren't afraid to draw attention to themselves. I learned a few things while I was waiting for you to show up. It's just as we thought. The Grey Host is using this camp as a supply depot for their raids across the countryside. I saw stacks of witch pikes, rows of reliquaries, and jars of what I assume is the refined netherroot brew. Right. And I heard the camp leader, a nasty creature named Sableye, tell his troops to make sure to use the new supply that just arrived from Blackreach. Let's go grab a jar or two.
But the Grey Host make us look like suckling pups.
No jars in this cart. Let's try another one. Not this card either. I hope we didn't miss it.
them, my packmates. I'll get this brew to the witches.
Sableye has the brew. Let's find him before he gets away. Leaving? Fine. Let me know when you're ready to get back to it.
Over here, partner.
Yeah. 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 The Grey Host does with spies. We eat them.
You got a jar of the refined brew? Let's talk over here. Luck was with us. If we had reached this camp even a few moments later, Sableye would have gotten away with the Netherroot brew. After all this trouble, Fen better be able to use it to make his elixir. I'll take the jar of refined Netherroot brew to Solitude. We'll meet up in Svanna's chambers when everyone gets back from their missions. I hope they're all right. Fen has proven himself, especially after what happened in Blackreach. House Ravenwatch, they're unusual as far as bloodsuckers go. As for Svanna, she's braver than I originally thought. Anyway, meet me in Solitude after you finish up. In addition to the refined Netherroot brew, Fen needs information on the Icereach Coven medallions. Plus, we're hoping to learn more about the big storm the Grey Host has planned. Help Fen and Svanna at the other camps, then meet me in Solitude. Glad to hear that worked out. With any luck, Fen will produce a working elixir in short order. Then we can stop worrying about the Harrow storms and concentrate on defeating the Grey Host. Which reminds me, go to the Blackreach camp and aid Svanna.
Yeah.
look sick. Do you need a place to stay? You there. Are you seeking refuge from the affliction too? This is a safe haven for those of us with werewolf blood who haven't been infected. If you require sanctuary, this is the best chance you'll get. You don't know? Some kind of disease has spread throughout Blackreach. It's turning werewolves mad. Feral, almost. And our only hope to find a cure vanished without a trace. Alchemist Razir said he was close to developing one, and then disappeared. Tranya can tell you more. She's down below in the caverns with the others, putting together an effort to search for him. Please, if you can spare any help, we'd be grateful. The affliction comes suddenly, with no apparent cause. I think this cursed place is driving us mad. If it weren't for the other refugees still coming to Darkmoon Grotto for aid, I would head for the surface and not look back. My pack was forced into servitude by an alliance of vampires and werewolves. Enslaved in a black castle, we toiled alongside others and endured horrible experiments. If it wasn't for Tranya and Skor, I would still be there. They got a bunch of us out. With their strength and experience, we were able to break away from our captors and escape. They've created a safe haven for us here in the Aftermath. When we escaped Greymore Keep, Tranya and Skor set up a sanctuary in the grotto. It was a safe place for those of us who had been freed to rest and regroup. Since the disease, however, we're not welcome in the grotto. We've made do in these caves.
Please, stay calm, everyone. We will find Alchemist Razir.
What if he's already dead?
The affliction will catch us too. It's only a matter of time.
Are you fleeing from the affliction as well? If you are lost in the darkness, know that you are safe here with us. Yes, it's horrible. The afflicted are compelled to transform and then become violent, almost feral. We were close to finding a cure, but our alchemist, Razir, went missing. I fear something terrible may have happened. I'm not sure, but it's not like Alchemist Razir not to report back. My partner, Skjor, ran off to find him. I worry for him too. I want to search for them, but it's unwise to travel alone. I need an ally. Our non-werewolf allies barricaded themselves within the grotto. I need to speak with them and see if anyone might have seen where Razir was last headed. I don't think they'll be eager to speak to me, but perhaps you can get them to talk. Soon after our escape from our captors, my pack was enslaved and experimented upon by a sinister alliance of vampires and werewolves that inhabit Blackreach. They held us in a place called Greymore Keep and conducted horrible tests on our kind. Skjor convinced me to fight back. He and I eventually overpowered our captors and got our people out. We hid out here and formed a community with others that had been subjected to the torture. We thought our troubles were over. How foolish we were. Don't judge them too harshly. They're just afraid. We know very little about the disease. Our allies are afraid that we could turn on them at any moment. It's a valid concern. We left the grotto to ease their concerns and keep them safe. Not as much as I'd like. It strikes quickly and indiscriminately. Those who fall ill are consumed by an unnatural, violent rage. Nothing seems to get through to them. Their minds completely deteriorate. It varies. A friend of mine started showing symptoms a week before she was lost entirely. Others succumb overnight. I couldn't save them, but I will do what I can for those who remain. Alchemist Razir was close to a cure. I must find him. We're not coming in. But please, at least speak to us through the door.
You're not sick, are you? Be careful. If you hang around Tranya and her kind long enough, that might change. I'm truly sorry, but we can't risk letting anyone in. It's too dangerous. We can't have more people getting sick. He's still missing? Gods, Razir believes the violent werewolves was the result of an infection, one that he could cure. He went out in search of one final ingredient to test for his latest recipe, and never returned. No, but I know he took his notes with him when he left. Perhaps if you looked for clues, there might be a trail to lead you to him. We want a cure found just as much as the others. Please, find Rasir. He can fix all of this. Good. I hope he's all right. He's a brave man. Almost as soon as we heard Rasir was missing, Skor was asking after him. I told him the same thing I told you. We haven't seen him since then. He must still be out searching. Don't know how he's still standing, much less trying to find Rasir. He looked exhausted. His worry for Rasir seemed to take precedence, however. It's not unlike him. He's always protecting everyone else. He sometimes forgets to protect himself.
There is a fire up by those ruins. Maybe Rasir set up camp there. More journal pages. Quickly, let's see if we can find another. That looks like it might be the last of them. No sign of Rasir himself, but his journal should at least give us a clue as to where he went. What does it say? That's comforting. He must have been fairly confident to attempt the test. Impossible to say, but I hope with all my heart that he was. The cavern he writes about is nearby. We have a lead. Let's investigate. We need to get to the cavern quickly and see if Rasir is there. It's funny. He's always been the strong one. They did awful things to him at Greymore Keep, but he never broke. He inspired me when I felt like giving up. I'm not totally sure. He doesn't talk about it much. I knew they experimented on him more than the rest of us, because he was the strongest. He said they altered his body, made him take on strange mutations. It makes me sick to think of it.
Bregvar!
The rage. It's gone. I have control of my senses once more. Please, you must save Razir. He's our only hope. When I fell ill, I felt this all-consuming fury. I had no control over myself. My body was not my own. I've never felt so helpless. But Razir cured me. My head feels clear again. I don't remember much, just the rage. When I woke from it, Razir stood over me. He was ecstatic, babbling about his cure being a success. Before I could ask him anything, we were attacked by Skjor. It all happened so fast. He ran. Skjor chased after him. Looked to me like they went east. I wanted to help, but I'm too weak. I could barely stand. I lost track of him after that. I don't know if he survived, but please, you have to look for him. His cure works. Be careful. Skjor's changed. He is no longer the man he once was. The disease has completely destroyed his mind. He won't hesitate to kill you.
You're not sick. Did Tranya send you? There is a cure for the affliction. I hid a few vials before I went to test it, just in case anything went wrong. Take my instructions. They will lead you to it. And tell Tranya, Skor is lost. He succumbed to the affliction. His mind is gone. There's nothing there but rage. I thought there might be something left of the man he once was, but he's too far gone. He nearly killed me. I don't know. I just ran, hoping that I would lose him before I lost too much blood. He's still out there somewhere. Please, you have to find my cure. I'm too injured to retrieve it myself, but my instructions will lead you to it. Thank you. Please, don't let my work go to waste. Once I thought I had a suitable mixture for the cure, I knew I needed to test it. During my search, I found Brigvar. He was in a late stage of the affliction. I didn't know what would happen, but I had to try. Yes, I felt hopeful for the first time in weeks. But before I could even observe the full effects of the cure, Skor attacked. I ran as hard as I could. I didn't want to die having only cured one person. There are so many more that need my help.
Razir, you're alive! Thank the gods! You found Razir. Thank you, friend. I'm glad to see he still breathes. What did he tell you? Good. Once we have the cure, we can stop the affliction from spreading. While you collect it, I'll get Razir safely back to the grotto. Meet us there when you obtain the cure. are here! Skjor found us. I did my best to fight them off, but he was too strong. The affliction transformed him. It took everything in me to just stall him. I told Razir to run, but Skjor went after him. Please, you have to save Razir. He must survive. They must have gone through the grotto. Take the path to the right. You'll have to swim. There is an entrance tucked back behind the cavern. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. I just need to stop the bleeding. Go on without me, please. Hurry!
Skjor ran through here, chasing after Razir. Some of us tried to fight him off, but he's too powerful. We couldn't help Razir. And now I fear we are all infected. A cure! Thank you, stranger. Give it to me, and I'll make sure the others get it. You need to go after Razir. He's injured, and he can't hope to survive against Skjor.
oppose me will die. Why resist? I bring our people to power. You will not defeat me. I am unmatched.
Skjor, my friend. There was no way of saving him. He made sure of that. But I can't help but grieve for the man he was. Damn all of Greymore Keep for what they did to us. I'll survive. Now that I'm sure the cure works, I need not worry about the affliction. Thank you for your help. I owe my life to you and Tranya. Please, check on her and the others. I'll join you once I can catch my breath.
Look! They're both alive!
I'm glad to see you in one piece, friend. And thank you for saving Razir. The affliction will subside as we spread the cure to those still affected. And what of Skyr? I thought as much. But thanks to you, my people are safe. I would not let your help go to waste, nor will I let this tragedy sour the dreams Skor and I created here. Take this. We don't have much to offer, but we will never forget what you did for us. I will mourn Skyr. He was all I had in Greymore Keep. I would never have escaped without him. But I know he would want us to continue on. Dark Moon Grotto must remain a beacon of hope for all those who seek refuge in this darkness. My people need me. There are still those who endure countless horrors at Greymore Keep. I want to be there for them when they escape. And I vow to better understand this werewolf-vampire alliance so I can help put an end to all this suffering. The flow of escapees to our grotto is small, but steady. Word of our community spread quickly. That is why I stay here instead of returning to my home. I can't bear the thought of anyone facing this darkness alone. The cure will take time to spread, but once it starts, the effect will quicken. Hopefully a few more of our fallen friends will return to us. It won't be easy by any means, but now that we can cure the infection, we have a way to move forward.
God damn it, run! Damn these harrow storms and what they do to my people! I came here to learn what the Grey Host has planned, and what did I find? Good citizens of the Holds, afflicted by the harrow storms and kept prisoner for some ungodly purpose. No matter how many I set free, the Herald will not... That's all I've been doing, and trying to get these afflicted people to leave this place. The Herald, the storm robs them of their will, their minds. I wasn't able to slip deeper into the camp, though. Agreed. There appear to be a number of Grey Host warlords in the camp, so discovering their plans should be possible. We need to be careful, though. I don't want us to wind up like the Herald, serving as food for these bastards. Messages have been coming and going since I arrived. I've heard the name Rada al-Saran, the Ashen Lord, spoken in hushed and revered tones. His name was on the communique you found, remember? We need to get down there and see what else we can learn. Hiding, building their forces, digging, undermining. That's the correct term, I think. Plus, they're collecting the Herald, herding them like cattle. It's monstrous what they're doing to these poor people. Look, on the scaffold. Let's eavesdrop on those werewolves.
I left the orders in my tent, but the Ashen Lord was clear. We need more netherroot. See to the undergrowth immediately.
As you command, Pintock.
The undergrowth? That sounds important. There, on the left. Let's listen in.
Exarch Zingalis has fallen. I have never seen Rada El Saran, our Ashen Lord, so filled with sorrow, or such rage.
Does the loss of the Exarch alter our plans?
Not in the least. The strike on Solitude will occur as planned after Exarch Ulfra tests the improved ritual in the Undergrove.
An attack on Solitude? We need to move quickly. The Grey Host definitely has something big planned. Let's search the tents for a copy of those orders. That's what we were looking for. Let's talk over there. Orders from Rada al-Saran. His words sent a chill down my spine. Their plan for Solitude? It might even be more dreadful than an all-out attack. We need to get back and determine the exact location of this undergrove place. You saw what happened at Kilcreath and Carthwatch. Whatever they have planned for Solitude, it sounds a whole lot worse. I wish we knew more about this Rada al-Saran and what drives him. A family of monsters? Who could imagine vampires and werewolves working together? Let alone talking about one another like brothers and sisters. It's not natural. I'm glad I got to look around Blackreach, but I can't wait to see the sun and sky again. No matter how big these caverns are, it still feels like we're buried alive down here. We came down here to find out what the Grey Host has planned. But Fen still needs information about how the medallions are created, and a sample of the refined netherroot brew. Help Fen and Lyris at the other camps. Then meet me in Solitude. I'm glad I got to... We came down. Then we're done here. I hope we found enough to end the threat of the Grey Host. I'll meet you back at the Blue Palace. Good luck, my friend.
a fine hero appears in my hour of need. You there! Just the adventurer I wanted to see. You look well, and you're just in time. I need a strapping assistant to help me traverse this ruin. It is less than pristine, I'll grant you, but the Dwemer treasures within should be quite splendid. Indeed, I was conducting an ambitious experiment when my tools gave out. Someone or something ransacked this ruin some time ago, but I believe valuable power nodes and a master scepter still exist within. Perhaps you'd like to help me acquire them. Once we enter the scraps, we'll need to locate dormant Dwemer spiders. With my control rod, I'll command them to retrieve the power nodes for us. I'll need you to gallantly protect me from their more irritable brethren. I'd pay you for your effort. Once we head inside, we can scout out a few dormant spiders to do our bidding. Lead on, assistant. I will follow and observe. At a safe distance. Can't let any harm come to my delicate tools. You'll find me very partial to answering them. Ask away, dear adventurer. Oh, a little of this, a little of that. Traversing more Dwemer ruins in the pursuit of knowledge and discovery, tinkering with artifacts, keeping myself out of trouble for the most part. I'm quite pleased our paths have crossed again, assistant. Some scholars believe that Dwemer were able to communicate with one another over vast distances through fascinating headwear called miters. I happen to have one in my possession, and I plan to activate it with the power nodes. I don't dare to dream that I might communicate with the lost Dwemer themselves. But if I can unravel the secrets of the mitre, I may find myself closer than any scholar has ever been to discovering the nature of their disappearance. We'll need Dwemer spiders to gather the nodes for us. Look for scrap piles. We might find some amidst the chaff. Quickly now. Search the scrap heaps for an intact spider I can convince to help us. Excellent work, assistant. Now, let me give it orders to get us the power node. Well done, well done! Grab the power node. searching. Look high and low for an inactive spider. There we are. Go on and get the note, little one. Isn't it just magnificent how Dwemer technology endures? Don't be afraid to be a little brutish with the dormant ones. Sometimes they need a firm touch. Ah, good as new. Run along and fetch me my power node, little one. The spider dislodged the node. Pick it up. Good work, assistant. We're done here. Let's talk outside. Oh, good, you made it out. That's certainly enough hostile Dwemer creations for one day, I should think. I trust you still have the necessary components? Wonderful! Now my experiment can continue without interruption. You make a fine assistant. I'm glad my trust in you was not misplaced. Please, take this as an expression of my gratitude. You've more than earned it. I think I'll take a moment to catch my breath. No experiment has ever been helped by a nervous disposition. In fact, a great many of them have been thwarted by it. While working with miters, one must maintain a clear head. Now I intend to uncover the secrets of the Dwemer miter. Scholars bicker about its uses, but no one truly understands it. And those who have been foolish enough to try and Don Juan themselves are no longer able to tell us much of anything at all. As do I, dear assistant. But for that, I must work uninterrupted. I am deeply grateful for your help, but you will have to wait for the results of my findings along with the Dwemerich scholarly community.
Reliquary is nearly filled. Enjoy your freedom from oblivion. Initiate the exchange. Something more for your efforts than Splinter. This reliquary is filled. Remains. The ritual will continue. Step forward and join your comrades in this world. Our harvest begins.
soul.
Wasted! Your kind has died for nothing!
Heads.
What in the nine worlds?
This is taking longer than I'd planned.
So, do we have a way to defend against the Harrow Storms, or what?
The elixir should do what we need, provided neither Fen nor I made any miscalculations.
Yolen, don't be so negative. The elixir will work. You'll see. Oh, good. You're back. Mjolin and I have been discussing the various ways to turn what we've got into a protective elixir. I'm hesitant to get too excited, but I think we've figured out how to defend against the Harrow Storms. The Grey Host uses an unstable mix of alchemy and sorcery to create the Harrow Storms. An arcane ritual and the Netherroot brew focus the power of each Harrow Storm through the prepared witch pikes. Ingenious, but fully exploitable. We can use the refined brew as the basis of our elixir. Now that we understand how the Harrow Storms are created, we can use those same components to replicate the medallion's protective properties. We just need to gather the necessary components. Svana's associate, Mog, will procure most of the supplies I need, but there's one final ingredient required. For various reasons, I can't simply walk into the Hall of the Dead and claim it myself. I need you to acquire Arkay's sacred oil. A holy ointment associated with a god that became popular due to imperial influence. It's used by the priests in the Hall of the Dead to provide protection against necromancy and the undead. We need that oil to create our elixir.
Knowing the orders my father has been issuing of late, you might need my help to acquire Arkay's sacred oil. I'll meet you at the Hall of the Dead.
To the Hall of the Dead with you. Hurry along! Ingert still serves as High Priest, I believe. We're much the same, he and I. Yet he gets the fancy temple. And I get a hut in the woods.
You won't get away with this, thief!
You'll need my help.
Go ahead. Get what Fen needs from the Hall of the Dead. I'll make sure Mog follows through on procuring the rest of the supplies. He can be easily distracted, in case you haven't noticed.
Keeping the tankard. Svana's giving orders. Thinks she's a proper princess now, she does. Well, I am an expert at procuring all sorts of procurements. I'll get what the Pale Elf needs. After I finish this drink. For medicinal purposes, you understand.
What is it?
Yeah.
Gods, more refugees arrive by the hour. Why does Skyrim hesitate?
The High King issues orders, but all they do is lock away the afflicted. When will we strike back?
Princess Svana, what can I do for you, Your Highness?
Listen to my friend, High Priest. We need your help.
I'm surprised to see the princess here. As you can see, the influx of refugees has made this place much more hectic than usual. Is there something I can do for Princess Svana? Sacred oil? Strange. That's the second time today someone has come seeking Arkay's anointing balm. Sword Thane Athlet arrived with an edict from the king. Demanded our entire supply. How we're to consecrate the dead without it, I have no idea. The Sword Thane wouldn't say. He just mentioned that the High King needed it to defend Solitude. I'm sorry I can't comply with the princess's request. Things are hard enough that these refugees must take shelter here among the dead. The Sword Thane took the oil to Castle Dower. That's where all the supplies for a siege are gathered during periods of strife. I pray that High King Svargrim receives the patience and wisdom required to see us through this crisis. Solitude's foundation began with the construction of Castle Dower. It's the oldest structure in the city, and the most defensible. I tried to move the refugees there for safekeeping, but my request was denied. The High King has other plans, I suppose.
Has my father found a way to use this sacred oil against the Grey Host? Perhaps he's doing more than I thought. This Sword Thane has helped me in the past. He'll be reasonable. He has to be. Let's let him know what we need.
Hold! Castle Dower is... Princess Svanna.
Sword Thane, our business is urgent. My friend will explain.
I don't have time for the princess's proclivities right now. The High King... We barely keep up with the multitude of tasks, so speak quickly and let me get back to it. My orders from the High King were clear. Stockpile the entire supply of sacred oil in the Temple of the Divines here within the confines of Castle Dower. What in Shore's name does the princess need with holy oil anyway? Protection? Truly? The Herald already outnumber my soldiers, and more arrive every day. Still, giving you the oil would violate the High King's edict. I suppose if I happened to look the other way for a moment, I wouldn't notice if a flask disappears.
A single flask? Then we'll have to make do. Let's get it back to...
Sword Thane! Why his work? I gave strict orders, yet my daughter freely enters the castle grounds. What do they want, Sword Thane?
We came to offer our assistance, Father. Sword Thane, how can we help?
Athlet has everything well in hand, child. Despite your intentions, you would only hinder our efforts. Go! The Sword Thane doesn't need my daughter or her wastrel underfoot.
My father's never been what I'd call a warm and caring parent. But this crisis has made him even more distant. Let's get this sacred oil to Fen. My father will certainly change his attitude once we present the protective elixir to him. He's trying to protect me. It's what he does. And leave me out. Though I suppose that's mostly my own fault. I know Mother's death weighs on him. As does this entire crisis. That's why we have to help. This elixir is going to work. It has to. It's not that unusual. Castle Dower is the most defensible part of the city. In the past, we'd gather the people inside the walls. Now my father is using the fortress to house the Herald. They need to go somewhere, right? Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh look, she's still there.
Once it's ready, I'll test the elixir.
As you say, Lyris. Ah, here they come now. You have the sacred oil? Add it to the cauldron. Yes, a perfect fusion. It's ready to be tested. Come, let's talk.
Well, it didn't explode. That's a step in the right direction. I just hope it doesn't taste anything like it smells when I test it.
Venorian does exemplary work, despite his youthful exuberance and dashing appearance. Of course, we still aren't sure if the elixir will actually keep the effects of a hailstorm at bay.
With the addition of the sacred oil, the elixir is complete. Before we produce enough to distribute to the people of Western Skyrim, we need to test it. I'm confident of my work, but we're dealing with powerful forces here. We can't wait for the next Harrowstorm to strike. But what you and Svanna learned in Blackreach might help. You heard that Exarch Ulfra was testing Harrowstorm rituals in a place called the Undergrove. We'll go there and let Lyris drink the elixir. During my explorations of Blackreach, I came across an ancient burial site, a place called the Midnight Barrow. This undergrove must be inside those ruins. Once there, you and Svanna keep watch from a safe distance, while Lyris steps into the storm. From what I could tell, the Midnight Barrow sank into Blackreach in the distant past. Somewhere in its chambers, we'll find the undergrove. The ruined barrow is in the Lightless Hollow, in the northwest portion of the cavern. We'll meet you there. We're going to find an active Harrowstorm in the Undergrove, or I'm going to attempt to replicate one in there. Then Lyris drinks the elixir, exposes herself to the dark magic, and we wait to see what happens. Very risky. But it's also our best chance to counter the Harrowstorms and fight back against the Grey Host. Either Lyris comes through fine, or she transforms into a Harrowed. Or a Harrow Fiend. That's also a possibility.
This has to work. The safety of my people depends on it. Besides, I don't want to see Lyris get hurt.
Blackreach. If I were a little younger, I'd love to go with you. Do a little exploring. Ah, well. I suppose I'll stay here in the palace. Work on how to create more of the elixir once we know it's safe.
Blackreach again, and a flask of foul-smelling elixir waiting to be guzzled down. Oh, joy.
I tried to read that book. The covers were too far apart.